Wisconsin arrives to Camp Randall with everything in front of them. A Big Ten West Division and perhaps the college football playoff. Plus this guy, an emerging Heisman Trophy contender. Freshman running back Jonathan Taylor has become one of the names you need to know. Today, his undefeated Badgers meet up with Nate Stanley in 20th ranked Iowa. It's a classic, good old-fashioned Big Ten battle in the cold right now. The Badgers are closing in on something special. Number 8 Wisconsin, 9-0. Prime for a run at the Big Ten championship game. If they can find a way to slow down 20th ranked Iowa. Iowa just blasted Ohio State. Wisconsin just keeps on winning. One of only 4 remaining unbeaten Power 5 conference teams. Badgers have won 12 straight Big Ten games. Iowa coming off their wow moment of the year, put up 55 against Ohio State. November football in every way. Rivalry matchup, Todd, brought to you by Wendy's.
Well, it's two teams that are very, very similar. It's like looking in the mirror at each other. Both teams play with fullbacks. They play with tight ends. They believe in being physical and tough, not beating themselves and playing the game and playing their best in the fourth quarter. And it's one of those trophy games that the Big Ten has so many of. Let's take it down to the field and check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, you know, it's also an emotional homecoming for Iowa's quarterback, Nate Stanley. He grew up right here in Wisconsin, about 3 hours away. Menominee, Wisconsin is his hometown. And he grew up perhaps thinking Monday he would be a Wisconsin Badger, but it wasn't to happen. He played 3 sports in high school, but the Badgers did not recruit him at that time. His 2 biggest offers were Iowa and Pitt, where Paul Chryst was the head coach at that time. Well, he committed to Iowa. Then Paul Chryst got the Wisconsin job, but it was just too late. The young man and his parents thought it was important to stand by their commitment to the Hawkeyes. And even though his heart might be here in Wisconsin, he is leading this Iowa team into town today, hoping to make a good showing against his former team of his childhood, the Badgers.
Menominee, about 3 hours northwest of Madison, a little closer to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Iowa won the toss. Wisconsin will receive. There's Derek Tyndall back to receive for the Badgers. 30 wins now for Paul Chryst. He's the 4th head coach in Big Ten history to do that, and the big prize could lie ahead. Miguel Racinos will get the day started. From Camp Randall, we are underway. Important one in the Big Ten. Tyndall met at first, but able to get 5 extra yards. So there is Alex Hornibrook. Wisconsin has won the last 15 games he has started. That is the best win streak for any quarterback in the country.
Left-hander has really improved his physical strength since last season, and the job is his. You know, last year he shared it with a senior, Bart Houston, a much more confident quarterback this year, knowing he's the guy.
Of course, easy to lean on, the 4th leading rusher in the nation. Jonathan Taylor will add to that right away. Another run of 10+ yards, and look at that offensive line from Wisconsin make a statement early. 19 yards from Jonathan Taylor.
Well, again, this is power football. They pull the guard and the tight end. They run right at the heart of this Iowa defense, and you see the strength and the leg strength of Jonathan Taylor on the first carry of the ball game. This is a team that is power-oriented. They play with 2 and sometimes 3 tight ends, and then a lot of play action pass off that run game.
And test that left side, and finding him right away was Bujada.
Really nice play by Bujada, getting by the center.
Bujada, a senior from Howells, Nebraska. The impact players, you see Jonathan Taylor and the impact he has already made. Josie Jewell is 4th in the nation tackles per game. Josh Jackson had 5 interceptions to this point, 3 last week against Ohio State. Fumagalli, of course, a big target for the Badgers, had 30 catches on the year coming in. Rashid Ibrahim, the running back, flanking Hornibrook on 2nd and 13, incomplete. It was to the outside of A.J. Taylor.
Well, we should mention that last week, a key injury for Wisconsin. Quintez Cephas, their leading receiver, injured his leg in the 3rd quarter. He is out for the rest of the year, and that's a big loss. 30 catches coming into the ball game today, and that play was designed for A.J. Taylor, who's going to have to step up in place of the injured Cephas.
Cephas had surgery 4 days ago. As you said, leads the team in receptions as well as receiving touchdowns.
Fumagalli, the key guy right here.
Hornibrook. Intercepted. Josh Jackson does it again. Pick 6 to start the game, just like they did a week ago against the Buckeyes.
Well, last week it was the first play of the ball game. The game was only 8 seconds old. This time it took a few more plays, but the ball skills of Josh Jackson are spectacular. He was a receiver when he first started his career, and you can see how he catches the ball with his hands like a wide receiver. The ball was a little bit behind the intended receiver, didn't have a lot of zip on it, and Josh Jackson continues his hot streak of picking off footballs.
6 interceptions for Josh Jackson. Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week. He's going to go for 2 in a row. Josh Jackson, 43-yard pick 6. Josh Jackson just provided Iowa 3rd pick 6 of the year. 2nd one that Hornibrook has thrown.
Scary thing is when we talked to his coach, Phil Parker, yesterday, he says this guy still has a lot of upside. He can really improve as a defensive back, but he has all the intangibles: size, speed, quickness, and those ball skills.
Here's Tyndall from just inside the goal line as he's wrapped up short of the 20. Wisconsin clinches the Big Ten West with a win today. They're going up against a team that clearly found themselves a week ago.
So here's this 3 tight end bunch set right now for Wisconsin.
Pitch to the near side. Taylor utilized his blocks, and it was Bajada with his 2nd tackle. Gain of 6 by Taylor.
Wisconsin will use those multiple tight ends, and they'll move them and shift them and try to outflank your defense in their run game. And then they'll also spread out of there off play action and throw the football.
Bradrick Shaw is the featured back here in the I formation as Hornibrook sets up on 2nd and 4. Drives that ball complete right into the hands of Danny Davis, and a 1st down for Wisconsin.
Really nice job by Austin Ramish, the fullback, picking up the blitzing linebacker, Ben Neiman. And as Holly mentioned, move on to the next play, the next series. Nice throw to Danny Davis, one of those young receivers that is going to have to step up in the absence of Quintez Cephas.
Davis, a freshman from Springfield, Ohio. They landed him on signing day this past winter, and he is a guy they're very high on for his future. Here's Shaw, guy who grew up in SEC country with a big chunk play here in the midst of the Big Ten. He is from Birmingham Hoover High School.
Well, this is one of their key plays. It's a counter. They're going to pull the guard, and they bring Fumagalli. It's counter action. The other side of the line blocks down. They get the lead through and the kick out, and Bradrick Shaw just follows that big Ben Shaw, number 66, right through the hole for a nice 1st down.
Ben Shaw, a 3-year starter on the Wisconsin offensive line. Goes 6'6", 317, the junior from Grafton.
See, here's that shift. Now one of the tight ends is in the backfield.
Good job filling the hole that time, Jake Gervas. And you talk about Jonathan Taylor and what he's been able to do. Look at the freshman. He's the quickest to get to 1,000 yards as a freshman, your first 7 games. Pretty good company there, Tom.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Of course, the guy next to him on the end, another Wisconsin Badger, P.J. Hill.
And nationally, he only trails the top 3 rushers coming into this weekend. Bryce Love leading the nation, rushing at 182 per game. Taylor came in at 152 per game. 2nd and 8. Hornibrook. That was to the outside, and so looking for Fumagalli.
Had him too. Fumagalli on the out route working on Josh Jackson, and he was open, but that ball sailed on Hornibrook.
Numbers on 3rd down. The conversion rate. You want to be a successful football team, be in the top 10 there.
Well, there's only 6 teams in all of college football that average over 50%. Wisconsin leading all of them.
So the senior fullback Austin Ramish getting looked at. 3rd and 8. On the slant, complete, and it's another conversion to Danny Davis. So is Cephas out for the year? Davis may be his Mr. Reliable.
Watch the timing as Hornibrook's going to throw this right between 2 defenders. There's a corner and a linebacker, and the timing was perfect on the throw with Danny Davis. Danny Davis missed a couple games with a leg injury in the Purdue game, and he's not quite 100%, but he's off to a good start in the ball game today.
Well, in a spot like this is where Hornibrook does his thing. He's the best quarterback in passing efficiency in the red zone.
Counter again.
Taylor, as he bounced into Ben Neiman and finally was taken down by Miles Taylor, gain of 6.
If you want to be a good red zone offense, you have to be able to run the football. Now that could come in the form of a quarterback who can run, which is not the case with the Badgers, but their power running and play action pass in the red zone makes them very effective.
Well, we asked how would Hornibrook react after throwing the pick 6. This is a steady drive. Their 10th play coming up here. 2nd and 4. Taylor, look at the blocking in front, and still driving. It'll be 1st and goal.
Boy, really nice job by Xander Neville. Watch number 85 get a piece of 2 blocks. He's going to double team with the tackle, come off of that block, and get the linebacker Neiman, and allow Jonathan Taylor to get the 1st down. Xander Neville, 7 catches on the year, primarily the blocker in that formation.
Lower the shoulders, fighting his way, and they're going to mark him short.
It looked like he was going to get in on this following his fullback. The ball just needs to cross the plane. Nice job by Iowa standing him up before he gets to the goal line. No, I think it's the right call. I mean, I think smartly he didn't try to stick the ball out over the goal line. It was just good high tackling by the Iowa linebackers there right at the goal line.
A lot of big bodies in for a big body team. Ramish and Ingold, both fullbacks in, and Neville comes in motion. And they go to the up back, the fullback Ramish, who's still fighting, barely got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, how about this? Last week, Austin Ramish did not travel to Indiana. He was injured. And Alec Ingold scored 3 touchdowns, 2 of them on that play right there. The quick give to the fullback. This time they tried to give it to Ramish, and he didn't get it in the end zone.
If you ever want to see somebody have a speedy recovery,
right,
have your backup score 3 touchdowns in the game. All of a sudden, you're feeling fine. This will be the 13th play of this drive. 3rd and goal. Hornibrook with time to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Fumagalli is such an attractive target with his size and his skill, but Gervas had coverage.
Really good coverage by Gervas. Iowa anticipating the throw going towards Fumagalli. Just nowhere to put the football. Unfortunate motion penalty forces a field goal attempt.
And one of the best who's ever played here on to attempt the 23-yarder, Rafael Gaglianoni. So they cap it with a Gaglianone field goal. As Hintz kicks away, and Kelly Martin will take it out. Good coverage brought down just beyond the 15 in that game. There's 5:37 left on the clock, and we're about to see Iowa's first offensive play.
25 minutes ago, this game started.
Pick six got them on the board. Wisconsin then a long drive, and now here is Nate Stanley. As Wadley will get his day started. Holly?
Well, Wisconsin has some key injuries today. One of those is linebacker Chris Orr, who's out for the game. But Dakota Dixon, their good safety, was a game-time decision. It looks like he will not play today. I noticed Joe Ferguson, number 8, is back there playing safety. He's a local product from Madison. No pressure about Barry Alvarez's grandson. But, guys, he's had limited playing time, but 7 tackles, 4 interceptions. He's made the most of his experience this year.
Last week he had 2 interceptions.
And a fumble recovery. He has a real knack for being in the right place at the right time.
Stanley, as he just checked down that time, and quickly on it was Ryan Conley making the tackle of James Butler.
Well, the numbers for this Wisconsin defense this year have been outstanding in just about every category. This is the best offense that they've faced, though. I think the most balanced offense they've faced all season. They do a great job of pressuring the quarterback without blitzing. They had 31 sacks coming into the ball game, but they rarely, if ever, bring more than 4 rushers.
The delay here with Wadley as they will look to play it safe, and he bounces it for a decent game. Interesting way to start our day here in Madtown.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Wisconsin is trying to work their way up towards the college football playoff, but Iowa has come to play. College football presented by K Jewelers will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. As Rastetter on to punt again. Nick Nelson awaits. Rugby style. And it takes a big bounce, driving him inside the 30 and taken down at the 34. We got some good running backs in this game. And interestingly, Wadley and Taylor playing at Iowa and Wisconsin come from New Jersey. So we figured let's take a trip on the Jersey Turnpike and find out that these teams have often gone to find recruiting gems of running backs in Jersey. Hop on the pike, go elsewhere, like Ron Dane from Berlin Township, or Anthony Davis from Plainfield, and Corey Clement from Glassboro, who's having such a good start to his NFL career with the Eagles. Had 3 touchdowns last week.
Kind of crazy, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Iowa and Wisconsin have found gold with running backs from New Jersey. And this guy is the best freshman in the country, Jonathan Taylor, 4th in the nation in rushing. And Holly 4th in Heisman polling as well. He's off to a great start. What's up, Holly?
Well, you know, when his teammates found out that he could be pretty special, they said they were about 3 weeks into fall camp, and all of a sudden he broke 6 tackles. They said he was going against the first team. He was on the second team. He broke 6 tackles, took it to the house, and they were like, oh, this freshman might be okay. But the best part about him, he knows the pass protections. He never blames being young for mistakes. He's trying to learn and stay out on the field in every situation.
Already 62 yards today. 2nd and 10, Jonathan Taylor. As it'll be 3rd and about 4 there. Josie Jewell with the tackle. He averages 11.6 per game. That's 4th in the nation.
Josie Jewell, Ben Neiman, and Bo Bauer. Those 3 are 1, 2, and 3 in leading the team in tackles. And unlike a lot of teams that will sub, like on 3rd down, bring an extra nickel back in, they keep their same base personnel on the field. And number 44, Neiman, is the guy that has to kind of go out and play in space.
3rd and 4. And it'll be a first down as Neville has the reception.
Iowa very locked into Fumagalli so far in the ball game, especially with the injury to Cephas. And a nice job finding a different target in Neville for the first down.
Guy who's done it all in his career. Played some defensive end and tight end last year. Also saw a lot of snaps on special teams coverage units. So he comes up with a 9-yard reception on 3rd and 4. Now he will trade sides with Fumagalli. Play action. And here is Fumagalli. And he lowers the shoulder against Bo Bauer. 11 yards for Fumagalli.
Well, a lot of times they'll bring that tight end in motion and lead on the counter play. This is the bootleg action off of it. And it fooled the Iowa defense, and he slipped out into the route. They started him on one side, they shifted him to the other, and then they brought him on the same action that they use him to block on and threw him the football. Good mixture of play calling that time by Joe Rudolph, the offensive coordinator.
Bunch set here on first down. And they come with the end around with Pryor. Well blocked inside the 10 and score it on Wisconsin.
Well, we've talked about this center leading the way. Unbelievable on this play. Watch Biadasz on this one now. He's going to not only get out and lead this play, he is going to get a pancake block on the perimeter, on the corner, and just seal the edge for the touchdown.
And then just for good measure, big 317-pound Bo Benshaw was another tractor trailer down the highway.
Perfect call. What a possession by the Badgers.
Kendrick Pryor, the redshirt freshman, had a bad accident halfway through fall camp on a moped, had facial fractures, worked his way back slowly. Nothing slow about this play. Touchdown, Pryor. College football playoff rankings brought to you by Goodyear, and you see undefeated Wisconsin at number 8. Now, Todd, the 12 playoff teams we've had in the last 3 years, they've had an average of 4.3 wins against ranked teams. Why it was so critical to see that number 20 show up near Iowa's name this week. Here's Ivory Kelly Martin on the return. Butler going to test that left side, but he was tripped up by T.J. Edwards.
When we talk about field position in a game like this, when these teams play, how important it is, and you could just feel that Wisconsin, despite the 2 interceptions by Hornibrook, had the advantage with the field position. They were finally able to capitalize on it. Iowa still has not run a play in Wisconsin territory in the ball game.
That guy has had the ball.
Yeah.
Running over the goal line. Pick 6 is how they're on the board. Showing some pressure that time as Joe Ferguson is coming in after Stanley, and it is batted down.
Now, he was unblocked, and so Stanley had to get rid of the football quickly. Interestingly, he moved his back to the other side away from the pressure. And that ball was just batted down right at the line of scrimmage.
That was Alec James with 6'3", was able to get his hand up. 3rd down and 13. Stanley has time. Now they get after him and bring him down. It was Van Ginkel the first to get there. Coverage did a good job, and then the front took care of business.
4-man rush, but a little stunt. Watch this move to the inside, and that's what's going to get him free. 3rd and long, get caught up in the wash, and a nice pass rush. Again, a little bit of the NFL influence from Jim Leonard. 4-man rush, don't have to blitz, still get to the quarterback. Another sack for the Badgers.
3rd time a 3-and-out for Iowa. They did a great job with get-off time there, and it is fielded back at the 45 with Nelson. Catches a seam. Nick Nelson, great return. And with just over 2.5 minutes to the half, Wisconsin's in prime position.
Well, what Nelson did a great job of is not messing around going east and west. Watch him just plant his foot and get straight up the field and get even more than I think he anticipated he might get, but sets his offense up beautifully for a final possession here in the first half, possibly.
20-yard return that time from Nelson as the ball sits on the 26-yard line. No timeouts for Wisconsin, but 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Plenty of time to accomplish the task.
Yeah, you can do anything you want. You can run here.
Play clock down to 5. Taylor taken down that time by Josie Jewell.
And Neiman with the tackle. Gain of 5 on the
Jonathan
play.
Taylor in that elite company. Shows you the fastest freshman to get to 1,000 yards. Who else is on that list? Guys like Emmitt Smith, Marshall Faulk, Adrian Peterson. 4th leading rusher in the nation. Already with 86 here in this first half. And they find him with blockers in front, and Taylor will have a first down for Wisconsin at the 12.
That's only his 3rd reception of the season. A real break of tendency there, throwing the football to Jonathan Taylor on the screen. It was well set up and well executed. And Taylor shows you what he can do with the ball in his hands. Big play and a nice call and a change of pace by Joe Rudolph there, getting him the football on a pass.
Bradrick Shaw comes in for Taylor. Play action. Hornibrook steps into it. Corner of the end zone. Fighting for it and coming down with it. Kendrick Pryor.
Hornibrook is going to look to his right first for Fumagalli, who's working against Jackson. He chooses to go to the other side for Pryor, working against Rugamba. A good decision, going away from Josh Jackson and getting the touchdown.
So Pryor with the touchdown run. Iowa will get the ball in the second half. As we get you set for the Capital One halftime report, still to come
the end of the first
here
half.
on ABC. Wisconsin is a half away from finding their way to the Big Ten championship game, where the mathematicians say almost assuredly it would be against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. But the defensive stats in that first half for Wisconsin, so impressive, Tom.
Well, when you're an offense and you run more plays than you have total yards, that's not good. And that was the case for Iowa. Now, field position played a big part of that, ineptitude and long yardage on 3rd down. They've got to find something to go right for them here in the second half.
Iowa's longest play today is only 9 yards.
And no throws even targeted at their 2 tight ends, who are 2 of their best playmakers in Hawkinson and Fant.
Here's Butler as he goes ahead for 3.5 yards. Moments ago, Holly with Kirk Ferentz.
Well, Coach, you've got the turnovers that have been going your way, but you haven't been able to capitalize on them. What do you have to do different defensively and offensively?
Well, you know, field position's been tough, but we just we're not doing much of anything real good right now. So just got to regroup here and see if we can get something going.
What can you lean on offense?
Well, hopefully we can just start doing things together, run and pass. We're not going to do one or the other. So got to mix, be balanced, and hopefully it's a 10-point game. That's anybody's game right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
Incomplete on 2nd and 6. He mentions field position. Iowa 3 starts of possession inside their own 10 today. 0 for 7 on 3rd down, and there's a 3rd and 6.
3rd down. I mean, at least it's not 3rd and 10. But Nate Stanley, who has played very well of late, has got to get hot. He's got to put that first half behind him, and a great way to start would be a completion here on 3rd down.
Third and 6. They only bring 4. This is often the case, and that's all that's needed. That was Leon Jacobs with the sack of Stanley.
He just went right inside the right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, the freshman. This is just too much quickness. Watch the inside move around number 74. And then right up the field to the quarterback. And for this Iowa offense, after scoring 55 points a week ago, their 6th straight 3 and out.
26 plays, 14 total yards for Iowa. Nelson will let it bounce. Goes inside the 40. Holly.
Well, guys, 2 plays before the half, the center for Wisconsin, who has just been a monster out there today, Tyler Biotish, injured his leg. He played the next play, which was the touchdown, but then had to be helped up off the turf. He limped into the locker room. He has been looked at. He's going to try to play right now, but he might be limited and not sure of how much he'll be able to play. Guys, it's such a huge deal because I swear they pulled him so much in the first half. His athleticism bouncing outside, I think it's going to affect the plays that they're able to call if he's limited with his mobility.
Yeah, well equipped on that offensive line. So talented.
Well, and normally your center is also your play caller or your protection setter.
Jonathan Taylor, 4 yards there. Yet another star running back for Wisconsin from New Jersey. I liked when the guy showed us that trip on the Jersey Turnpike to see all the talent that has come out of Jersey for both these schools with running backs. Amazing to consider. Of course, Ron Dane, the Heisman winner. Ron's jersey retired here. Straight ahead, and Taylor out to the 40.
Well, if you
16 more yards.
You don't want to pull your center, then just block straight ahead and run right behind him. You also have a fullback in there leading the way. Inside run, good patience by Taylor. And straight up the gut for another nice game.
Taylor already has 108 yards rushing early here in the second half. He has 3 200-plus yard games this year.
And they're set up with field position and running to go play action here also.
Taylor. Nice cut as he makes his way for 3.5. Josie Jewell, the tackle. Good one still to come tonight on ABC. Josh Adams, tremendous running back for Notre Dame. Didn't play the whole game last week. That engine should be revving fine against Miami tonight. See number 37 Groshek in the backfield with Hornibrook on 2nd and 6. And Groshek gets the call and only able to find 2 yards that time. Bujada with the tackle. Flag down there at the 30.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 67. 15 yards from the end of the run. 3rd down. That is number 67's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Now he pushed Josie Jewell off the pile at the end of the play. Not a very smart move by John Dietzen. An easy penalty to call, and it really sets this offense back that had nice momentum on this first possession of the second half for them, and puts them behind the chains now, 3rd and long and well out of field goal range.
3rd and 18, so Ibrahim comes in as the back as Hornibrook will try to make the most of it on 3rd and 18, and he will check down, and it is picked off. Josh Jackson, are you kidding me? He can do no wrong in the last 7 days. His 2nd pick 6 of the day after 3 picks last week.
It's a bad throw by Hornibrook, Joe. I mean, they're trying to be smart. They're trying to be safe on 3rd and long. And he's going to throw this ball too high. It's a dump off. The ball sails off the running back's hands and right into the waiting arms of Josh Jackson, who, you're right, can do no wrong the last 2 weeks.
7 interceptions now on the season, 2 pick sixes in 1 game. After last year, he was the National Defensive Player of the Week by many groups. The Big Ten, Walter Camp. Incredible span mid-season for Jackson here.
14 yards of total offense for the Hawkeyes, but it doesn't matter when you have number team. He's kept them in the football game.
Tyndall on the return here as he is taken down. Here's Shaw now getting a chance. And a good block as he makes it out to the 38-yard line. Second and 12. Swap tight end and fullback to an I formation. Ball came out. Bad exchange between center and quarterback. And fortunately for Wisconsin, Hornibrook was right on top of it.
Well, it's Jason Erdman in there at center. It's not Biadish, and that was not a clean exchange at all. And Hornibrook very fortunate that he fell on that one. Holly has mentioned the problems that Biadish is having with the injury late in the first half, and that was a bad exchange. And there's Biadish, the starting center, on the sidelines right now.
3rd and 11. Chance for the Iowa defense. Trailing only by 3 now. Caught, but 2 yards short was Fumagalli.
Well, and again, I go back to the penalty that set them back to start this possession. Kept them in long yardage situations, and 3rd and 11, they come up just short on that completion. A couple negative plays. This is an offense in Wisconsin that is at their best when they stay ahead of schedule. They lead the nation in 3rd down conversions, but they lead it by averaging only needing 6 yards per play.
Anthony Lotti on to punt. See if he can pin Vandenberg here. Fair catch at the 20. Halfway through the 3rd, undefeated Wisconsin, only up 3 now.
What can Iowa find offensively?
Stanley, quick throw and catch to his tight end Hawkinson.
Well, that's a good place to start. Coming into the ball game, T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant, their 2 tight ends, had combined for 42 receptions. And all of those receptions except 5 either result in a touchdown or a first down. Those 2 guys have been big-time weapons, and that's the first time the ball has touched either one of their hands today.
Running back Jonathan Taylor has 121 more yards than the entire Iowa offense to this point. And yet it's a 3-point game because of Josh Jackson and his 2 pick sixes. 2nd and 4. Butler driving. He's going to be close to that line to make. T.J. Edwards had to stop.
This Wisconsin defense, they're not flashy. They don't have any superstars, but they make you earn everything. They don't give up big plays. They keep things in front. They tackle well. They fill their gaps in the run game. You have to make plays. You have to put plays together.
Look at that stat. Their first down since 2 minutes left in the first quarter. It has been tough to find anything against this Wisconsin defense. Stanley, play action. Just beyond Noah Fant. And Fant can fly. He is a fluid big target at 6'5", 230.
Well, they finally tried to get the ball to these 2 guys, Hutchison and Fant. This is a nice throw, just a little bit long, but that's a big target in Fant at 6'5", just not able to bring the football down. First time they've tried to attack vertically against this Wisconsin defense as well.
Wadley comes back in as the lone back on 2nd and 10. Stanley with a defender right in his face, gunned into easily, but sliding back, couldn't corral it.
Well, this is not a great throw, but it's a catchable ball. I mean, these are plays that have to be made. When your offense is struggling, the ball's low and it's a little behind the intended receiver easily. But you got to come up and make some plays.
They are over on 3rd down today.
And this is the 5th time they've been 3rd and 10. So, or more.
Can they break through here? Looking to just fall on it. And now a fight for the ball, and picking it up is Jacobs. Jacobs is running it in. That is a touchdown for Wisconsin.
Ruling on the field. The ball was fumbled, recovered by the defense for a touchdown.
Iowa was just trying to fall on it. All of a sudden, it scooted out, and Jacobs ran with it.
Well, the ball was snapped before Stanley was ready. He was pointing out protections, and the ball is just squirting around. Nobody is recovering it. And finally, as it squirts out the back end, Leon Jacobs picks it up and takes it to the end zone. A strange game just got even stranger right there. 3 defensive touchdowns in the football game.
And for Leon Jacobs, what a day of great service to this football program. Playing in his record 55th game at Wisconsin, the new school record for most games played for the Badgers. And what a way to remember it. And now back to a 10-point lead. Ball on the ground, somehow squirts out. And Jacobs says, I'll take this. Wisconsin back up by 10. Well, we have 3 defensive touchdowns in this game, and we have an Iowa offense that just has a wall in front of them with Wisconsin's defense. Iowa has 15 total yards with 6:10 remaining here in the third. 24-14, undefeated Wisconsin. Here's Wadley, as he was met after 4 yards by Obasi.
Mentioned Jim Leonard, his first year as a defensive coordinator. They've had 3 different coordinators in the last 3 years. A couple years ago was Dave Aranda, who's now at LSU. Justin Wilcox last year, who's now the head coach at Cal. And Jim Leonard, who's in charge of the secondary, is now the coordinator. And they have just been outstanding today.
Just 35 years old. Guy who went from walk-on to NFL player. Nick Easley with a stiff arm to gain good yardage. Jim Leonard, the current defensive coordinator, finished up his career November of '04 when number 9 Wisconsin played number 17 Iowa, and he picked off Drew Tate 2 times. 21 on his career, still tied for the school record. He's going to be around for a long time as a promising coordinator and a coaching career that could grow into something very big. 10 years in the NFL. Holly?
My favorite Jim Leonard moment was I actually covered him as a player, and he was playing in a bowl game. He went crazy, had like 3 picks, was the player of the game. And after the game, I asked Barry Alvarez, hey, this kid's a walk-on. Are we going to be able to get him a scholarship or what? I loved being able to put Barry Alvarez on the spot on TV. I'm sure he's up in the press box remembering that moment. Like, yeah, we got to get this kid on scholarship. He's pretty good.
It was nice to see you reunite with Leonard yesterday, Holly. You were very proud of what he's done in the years since covering him as a college player. 2nd and 4. Complete out to midfield to Easley for an Iowa first down.
Best looking possession we've seen from the Iowa offense tonight. Couple nice runs, couple completions. They've got some momentum as they near the 50-yard line. It has been hard sledding for this offense all night, but they've got a little something cooking right here.
Iowa has run only 2 plays in Wisconsin territory.
With all the bodies around the line of scrimmage for Wisconsin, not threatened down the field.
Let's go to the studio to Cassidy. Well, we'll get the chance to check in with Cassidy, get another update from what's happening elsewhere in a moment. Iowa has made it to the 47. It's been the 2 pick-6 interception returns. They have not had a deep penetration into Wisconsin territory. Could this be the drive? Play action. Stanley. Picked off. What a play by T.J. Edwards.
He's trying to get the ball to his tight end, Noah Fant. Fant's going to run a crossing route, but T.J. Edwards is just going to step right in front of the play. He drops underneath it. His tight end is open if he can just get the ball over T.J. Edwards. But what a play by Edwards. Tips it to himself and snuffs out a very promising-looking Iowa drive. Their first good-looking offensive drive of the ball game is ended by T.J. Edwards and a beautiful play.
Leon Jacobs, T.J. Edwards, all these names who have stepped up this year, considering Jack Cicci out for the season, Chris Orr, who hurt his hamstring last week. They just fit right in and keep on producing. And Taylor keeps his balance for a nice run. That was a wild third quarter. Jacobs had the fumble return touchdown. Edwards capped it with that sensational interception. And undefeated Wisconsin will go to the fourth, up by 10. College football presented by K Jewelers will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Undefeated Wisconsin has a 10-point lead heading into the fourth quarter against Iowa. This Wisconsin team hasn't trailed in the second half of the game this year. Only Alabama and UCF can say that. Taylor stacked up at the line. So much on the line for Wisconsin. The great debate really heated up Tuesday night with the release of the college football playoff rankings. But everybody said, hey, much will be cleaned up, especially this weekend. It appears that's already happening down on the plains of Auburn, Alabama, as #1 Georgia's getting punched right in the mud.
Yeah, they sure are.
3rd and 3. Hornibrook will get it complete for a first down to Davis. 12-yard reception for Danny Davis, freshman from Ohio. Stepped up nicely. Pryor and Davis have, with Cephas out for the season.
See, that was the kind of throw that Stanley needed to make on his last possession. It was over a linebacker. Nice touch by Alex Hornibrook on that one. Got over the linebacker and dropped it down to his crossing route. The one Stanley threw just a little flat and picked off and stopped a promising drive.
Taylor doesn't get anything there on first down. Holly?
You know, Ohio State went into Iowa last week and got thumped. 31-point win for the Hawkeyes. I talked to some of their players this week to say, hey, how are you going to avoid having a hangover? And Josie Jewell insisted we are not having one. He said we got good rest in the second half. They were able to rotate some of their starters out in that game. And he said our practices Tuesday and Wednesday were intense. They insisted that there would be no hangover effect coming into this game tonight. I think they've just run up against a really stout Wisconsin defense.
Yeah, I
Boy,
think
have they been.
a very fundamentally sound defense.
Taylor is taken down by Nelson.
You know, a week ago, the game started. The very first play of the game, J.T. Barrett was picked off by Amani Hooker, and it was returned for a touchdown. And it just set the tone for the whole game. And Ohio State never recovered. Well, Josh Jackson did the same thing here, but Wisconsin's defense didn't flinch. The offense took a while, but their defense never flinched.
Barrett was so inaccurate last week.
Yeah.
Coming off, I mean, he was like Tito Zanaboni out there trying to find a target.
He was. He had a job to do, and he didn't get it done.
3rd and 8. Hornibrook downfield. Oh, great effort by Davis that time. Tremendous play on the sidelines.
Perfect throw, too, by Hornibrook over the outside shoulder in between Josh Jackson and the safety. Got the foot down, secured the catch. This ball could go one spot. Again, look at the length of Josh Jackson. He is a tall corner with long arms, and that ball had to be thrown over his outstretched arm for the completion. That is a beautiful throw, the best of the night by Alex Hornibrook.
The fact that Davis turned to the inside and then had a dive to the outside. Now 1st and goals. They will shift tight ends and fullbacks as they are wont to do. And they will run Shaw for a gain of 2.
Both of these teams have played their best in the fourth quarter. Wisconsin has outscored their opponents 94-21 in the fourth quarter coming in. They've had games where they've been sluggish. Even last week at Indiana, the game was 24-17 at the end of the third quarter, and then they just kind of spread out and scored 21 points in that final quarter.
And Davis has put them in good shape here. His 4 catches, 3 of them have come on third down. And that one was spectacular. Ramish in front of Shaw in the I formation. Shaw to the outside, to the end zone. Rinse and repeat for Wisconsin. It has been that kind of season, controlling things.
Watch the fullback Ramish with a block, and then from the outside, from the perimeter, a block as well. Outstanding work. Shaw gets to the edge and gets to the end zone.
Looking pretty good undefeated, aren't they? Shaw with the touchdown run. That guy's getting a lot of slaps on the back. Adam Krumholtz also had a nice block on the perimeter there.
Sure did. Number 24.
The college football playoff debate will continue to heat up, but the Big Ten's got a major player, don't they? You know, the student managers at Wisconsin and Iowa have been playing a football game since 1991. Todd, they play for the rusty toolbox.
Yeah. I love that, and it fits these two teams. But they played it indoors, Joe. How do you play a game for the rusty toolbox inside, in the comforts of home, inside? Got to get out in the elements like these guys.
I got to be honest with you. If you're going to call a game and have a rusty toolbox as a trophy, that game should be played on asphalt with parked cars,
or
with some tree limbs that are, you know, coming in. If you run a quick out, you got to worry about that.
You see those guys, though. They were serious.
Oh,
I mean, they had game faces on. The quarterbacks had wristbands with plays. That Wisconsin quarterback looked a little bit like Jared Lorenzen, the old Kentucky quarterback. Slinging it around out there.
Jared Lorenzen.
Big fella.
Oh, quite big. Remind me to tell you the story of him showing up at an SEC Nation over a beer. All-time classic. All right, so trailing by 17, here's Stanley. As they set up the screen to Wadley, and so many red jerseys are around. Thank you, Cassidy. That ball's incomplete. This came up earlier this week, but I'll throw it out there, and it's going to bother people from other conferences. But if Auburn beats the #1 team in the country, then plays Alabama and beats the new #1 team in the country, then comes back and has a rematch with Georgia, who will be ranked somewhere like 6, 7, 8, 9. That's as impressive a stretch as you can possibly produce in this sport. And even with the 2 losses, consider the 2 losses, close when it comes to early in the year, 20-point lead that they give way to LSU, they're going to be there, folks. 3rd and 8. Ball is loose. Wisconsin has it again, and once again, it's Leon Jacobs.
And once again, it's Ryan Conley coming on the blitz. Early in the game, he came after the quarterback and didn't get the quarterback to the ground. This time, he gets him to the ground. Watch 43 get there and strip the ball. Doesn't get the sack, but he gets a strip. Actually, it looks like Stanley just dropped the football, and Leon Jacobs for the 2nd time. But the pressure unblocked Ryan Conley getting to the quarterback. And Wisconsin trying to even up the turnover game.
And on that point, I'll extend the college football playoff conversation in this direction. Everybody criticizes Oklahoma. They shouldn't be in the playoff not playing defense. Well, then you better celebrate Wisconsin with the way they play defense. Because Jim Leonard has this group, no matter who's in there, just going to town. Taylor reverses in jet motion. And with that is able to get to the 18-yard line. Ben Neiman with the tackle. Ben Stad is the defensive coordinator at Rutgers.
Had a long day today against the Nittany Lions.
Not the faces we saw a week ago.
No.
Everything went right against Ohio State. And a turnover-filled game today, down 17 halfway through the fourth. Taylor inside the 10.
Here's something kind of crazy. As good of a year as Taylor has had, leading the Big Ten in rushing, putting up huge numbers. He's only had, before today, 27 carries in the fourth quarter. Now, he missed the second half of the Illinois game with an injury, but they've won games and they've been way ahead in the fourth quarter, and he just hasn't carried the football much. Imagine what his numbers would have been, or would be, had he carried the ball more in that final period.
He's only even appeared in 6 of Wisconsin's 9 games in fourth quarters, but only 27 fourth quarter touches coming into today. That's a great point, Todd. Shaw steps in for Taylor here on 3rd and 5. As Hornibrook will go to the end zone and knocked away from Danny Davis. And a flag does come in late there. O.J. Mudia had coverage of Davis.
Pass interference. Defense number 11. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
O.J. Mudia is going to make a nice play on the football with his right hand, but his left arm is, I think, what's going to get him in trouble. The left arm pulls on the jersey. The right hand makes a play on the football. And that's why the penalty was called. I thought it was a pretty good play when I first saw it because he got his hand on the football. But an unfortunate call against O.J. Mudia.
Jonathan Taylor. Ball came out there. As they were able to recover it, that was Neville who jumped back on it.
Had 6 total turnovers in the ball game so far. That was almost number 7. Good hit right on the football. I think it was Bo Bauer, number 41. Knocks that ball loose. Neville able to recover it for the Badgers.
A helmet right on the point of the ball. Shaw comes in on 2nd and goal. And as often the case, they'll shift both tight ends, strong side right. Man in motion's Taylor. Shaw bottled up, lost a yard.
Good goal line defense, penetration. That time by Anthony Nelson, number 98, got it across the line of scrimmage and really bottled that play up. These two teams are so similar in what they pride themselves on, being physical, being tough. I think the Iowa defense has played okay today. They've made their share of plays. Their offense is just not giving them any help at all.
3rd and goal. Hornibrook to the end zone, and that is caught for a touchdown by A.J. Taylor.
Well, by formation, they got a mismatch. They get A.J. Taylor working on a linebacker, Ben Neiman, because of how they deployed in formation. Neiman's going to be okay against the tight end, but he's going to have a little more of a problem against a wideout. And that time, Wisconsin took advantage of the matchup and got the touchdown.
They're going to be headed towards an 11-game win streak. Just steady work rate throughout. Hornibrook has been so good in the red zone this year. To the other Taylor, A.J. Taylor with the touchdown catch. Glad you're watching college football presented by K Jewelers as part of Veterans Week, brought to you by USAA. As Wisconsin's up 38-14. Closing in on a clinch of the Big Ten West. Michigan State and Ohio State was a de facto Big Ten East eliminator earlier today. And Ohio State has themselves nearly mathematically locked up. Undefeated Wisconsin. Boy, do they pass the eye test when you come see them. Saw the Heartland Trophy there. That is what they're playing for. These two. That is a newer trophy game. It debuted in '04. Wisconsin will have 7 wins. Iowa 5.
It's a bowl, right?
Well, it's a bowl on top of a walnut slab.
Okay.
You like the lunch, the toolbox better?
The bowl's okay. I do like the toolbox, but I don't like that they play it indoors. I think the toolbox is appropriate, though.
Badgers trophy games are against Iowa, Minnesota, and Nebraska. There's the toolbox. So the student managers play for the beat-up toolbox the night before. And then Iowa, Wisconsin, the big boys play for the walnut slab with a brass bowl adorned atop it.
Trophy games are pretty cool. I have to admit, they are pretty cool.
Well, Wisconsin likes them a lot. They have now won 16 of their last 17 trophy games with this victory here today. The lone loss was against Iowa 2 years ago. The trophy games have served the Badgers well.
We talked about that identity, that culture of Wisconsin. I think one of the coolest things about this program, you have a head coach in Paul Chris, an offensive coordinator, and Joe Rudolph, and a defensive coordinator, and Jim Leonard, that all played for the Badgers. There's only one other program in all of college football right now in the FBS that has that same combination. That's Air Force, another place that understands their culture.
It matters. What concerns you with Wisconsin, Todd? Where do you still point to and say, okay, they need to be just a little better there at the next level against the elite teams?
Yeah, I still think their passing game is way behind their run game. If they get into a situation where they really have to lean on their passing game, I think that they'll struggle. But their run game is solid and their defense is outstanding.
Consistent, so consistent. 11 straight they have won. 13 straight Big Ten games. Let's go down to the field to Holly.
Coach Chris, 10-0. How does that sound to you about right now?
Well, it's good. You appreciate all the effort that the players, coaches put into it, and it's you want to enjoy this one against a good Iowa team, and then come back and we still got to find ways to get better.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a game was so weird with all the turnovers. How do you think your guys had some resilience in those situations?
I think that group is that. You know, their defense played lights out, and they gave us a chance, and I thought offense took advantage of some things. I thought the special teams were good, so it takes everyone, but I thought our defense was, they were big time tonight.
You clinch the West Championship, you get to go into the Big Ten Championship game, but how do you keep your eye on even the bigger prize than just the Big Ten Championship?
You enjoy this one today, and then you get ready for next week's game, and if we do that and just keep finding ways to try to get better, then we'll hopefully maximize the opportunities that is this season.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, all. Good seeing you.
And next week's game will be against Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. His defense was awesome. Held Iowa to 66 total yards. And the fumble return touchdown thanks to Leon Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor, the freshman Heisman candidate, ran for 157 yards. Notre Dame against Miami still to come on ABC. But now we send it back to the studio with Kevin Nagandi and Matt Brown.